Right now, there is a very, very dangerous situation occurring in Hong Kong, China, and southern Taiwan and northern Philippines. For Taiwan and the Philippines, the main threat is flooding rain that is falling around this area. There's even been gusts up to 65 miles per hour here, as I've seen on the Weather Channel. There's been reports of gusts up to 65. Right now, the winds in Taiwan and Hong Kong are northwest at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And this storm is generally heading in the direction of Hong Kong and Macau and Guangzhou, China. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the city. Sorry about that. Just had to adjust it a little bit. I'm gonna show you the satellite image right now. Satellite loop. Just gonna adjust it. Okay, satellite loop. You'll see that there is a. I'm gonna animate this, and you can see that the storm is weakening. You can see right here. There's lots of thunderstorms here, but the center is still pretty wrapped up. You can see it's going through an eye wall replacement cycle. You can see a strong weakening, and then it's filling in, and now you can see more weakening. This weakening trend will continue, and it will hit Taiwan. The Hong Kong and Macau as a Category 1 hurricane. Typhoon. Even though it's going to be weak, it will still produce some very, very heavy rains. A lot of flooding for this part of China. There will be mudslides, landslides, street flooding in Hong Kong and Macau. There'll be some coastal flooding. And there's definitely going to be beach erosion from this. And there'll be some... It won't be as bad as Sandy, though, but it'll still be bad. This was a Category 5 super typhoon out in here. And it rapidly intensified. And you can see the storm has very good outflow right now. Very, very symmetrical storm. You can see the storm is very well defined. You can't see an eye as after it hit some of the islands in the Philippines, but you can see very well defined circulation. You can see all the thunderstorms just being banged up against Taiwan. A lot of flooding in Taiwan. A lot of flooding in the Philippines. There have already been reports of mudslides and landslides, both in the Philippines and in Taiwan. And some of the worst hit areas have been these islands right here. They've been hit full force by category. When it hit at this time, it was a strong Category 4 super typhoon. Winds up to 150. And here the water temperatures are pretty warm. I'm gonna go to Flash Tracker. This will show you the water temperatures. Unfortunately, my computer doesn't support it. So, okay. I'm gonna go to the other source. I'm gonna show you the Atlantic now. There is a. You can see there are some thunderstorms here. There is a low-level circulation somewhere around here. There is a storm right here. You can see. This is not a named storm or even an invest. As you can see, there's nothing here. But this is an area of disturbed weather. The Weather Channel said there's a chance of development here. This is being sheared apart. There is a low-level circulation right here. I'm going to animate it so you can see it. It's going to try to... Here you go. There's a low-level circulation right here. You can barely make it out, but you can see a low-level circulation right here. This wave is being sheared apart by shear. You can see the thunderstorms moving out. And now I'm going to show you to the Central Atlantic visible right now. Flash version of this loop. Here you go. Just going to, try to... I'm going to pause it for a second. As you can see, all this loop is courtesy of NOAA. And you can see the low-level circulation right here on the visible satellite. This is a low-level circulation. There is two areas of heavy shear. There's a level of heavy shear here and over here. You can see the high latitude winds. There's limited shear here. You can see the high pressure system is right here. And once this moves into this area of low shear, if there's thunderstorms that develop, this chance might have a chance of getting organized. You can see There's another low-level circulation here with thunderstorms being, but there's a lot of shear here. You can see the shear, just thunderstorms being ripped off to the northeast. Surface T temperatures about 28 degrees Celsius. I mean, as this is going to move west and northwest, this thing will have more of a chance of developing if it does not, run into the shear. But you can see here, there's little to no shear over here. There's another low-level circulation right here that might have a chance of developing, as long as it doesn't have too much shear. And once it moves into the warm waters, I mean, it's in pretty warm waters right now, 30 degrees Celsius, 29. But once it moves towards, west-northwest into the warm waters, this might have a chance of developing. The Atlantic overall is pretty quiet. There's no named systems in the Atlantic. There's one system in the Gulf, but that was worth watching, but now the front has absorbed that system. Invest 95L. It was supposed to, but some moisture from that storm might impact the southeast later in the week. And I'll go back to that now. Here's Invest 95L right here. I will show you a satellite image of this system right now. Moving north-northwest at 11 miles per hour. Winds about 30 miles per hour, and it's not very favorable for development right now because the front has absorbed the storm. But never say never. This thing could still develop. I mean, even if not Invest 95L itself does not develop, you can some of the a low pressure area of low pressure could develop along the front, and that could actually become a tropical system. A lot of times, systems that develop along fronts on the tail end of fronts become storms. I mean, named storms, like Alicia in 1983, Barry in there are a lot of storms that tropical storms and hurricanes that actually form from fronts. This is very common, especially in the Gulf of Mexico and off the east coast of the Atlantic. They usually end up being subtropical storms, but in rare occasions they could become strong hurricanes. Like Gustav in 2000, not Gustav, Gustav in 2002 was one of the examples of that. And Andrea in 2007. Andrea actually had hurricane force winds, and it actually was extratropical at that time, but as it moved over the Gulf Stream, it obtained some tropical characteristics. It actually, when it was subtropical, it actually came to the coast of Georgia, where there was a wildfire at that time, and its strong winds brought fanned the fire. But since it was subtropical, it didn't have a lot of moisture to work with, and it actually caused a lot of problems for firefighters in Georgia. It brought a lot of wind with it, but not much rain. And also, you can see there's another swirl here right here, just off the coast of Yucatan and Belize. That's probably going to move into Central America and not pose much of a threat. I mean, development threat. Now I'm gonna. Here's the radar loop of this storm of Invest 95L. There's a low level circulation, right there. And if you're thinking about how this winter, and if you're thinking about how this winter is going to be, well, I'm gonna take you to. So now I'm gonna switch from the tropics to the long-term winter forecast for this year. What really depends on how this winter is going to be is how the NAO is going to be. The NAO, the PNA, and the North Atlantic Oscillation. And you can see the NAO is going to go very, very, very negative. I mean, if this is winter, you'll be talking about a big snowstorm. This is very, very bad. Like, if you want a big snowstorm, you want a huge nor'easter, this is what to look for. I mean, this is what's going to happen. The NAO has been mostly, positive over some with some dips and negative, but now it's going to go mostly negative. It's been mostly positive, but now it's going to go negative. Now I'm going to go to that's why we're going to get that coastal, those, because if it's too negative, you know what happens? That's when the mid-Atlantic and the southeast get storms. Because the high pressure blocking is too strong. So very, very negative NAO. I'm going to pause it there. You can see very negative NAO. Now I'm going to show you the PNA, the Pacific North American pattern. Positive PNA usually means a lot of Pacific moisture coming in. If you want a big storm, you need a positive PNA, a negative NAO, and a neutral to maybe slightly negative Arctic Oscillation, or AO. So we're going to go to the PNA right now. PNA oscillation. This is what you need in winter. Fortunately, I'm having some trouble loading this on. There we go. Okay, looks like it's not loading. There we go. Look at this. Look at this. This is incredible. I mean, this is insane. I mean, look at this. There is going to be positive, super negative, and then super positive. I mean, this is crazy. This is extreme. This is an extreme, very big extreme. You can see right here. Look at this. This is. You do not want this in the winter. If you want a big nor'easter in the East Coast, you do not want this. If it's gonna go negative, if it's gonna say negative, you know what that means? Warm winter. I mean, some people are saying that this winter is gonna be fairly warm. Some people are saying this winter is gonna be very cold. Some, scientists. But overall, the major consensus is this winter is going to be equal chances that this winter will be kind of warm. I am personally, I don't know how this winter is going to be. But based on what I'm seeing right now, this winter is going to start off very cold and snowy, and probably by mid January it's probably going to get warm. I think it's not going to be as cold and snowy as last winter, or the 3 years ago, like 2010, 2011. It's definitely not going to be like that. But it's not going to be like 2011, 2012. That's way too warm. I think it's going to be somewhere on the cusps of 2011, 2012, and last winter. So it's probably going to be a normal winter for the Northeast. I don't know about the Midwest. I'm thinking the Midwest will probably get a pretty harsh winter, because the AO is, when you get a negative AO, when you get a negative AO, that's when you get cold snaps into the East Coast. As you can see, the AO has been mostly stable. Some negative, a little positive, so average out somewhere right here. It's been pretty good. But now we're going into a very negative. See, it's going to -1 to -2. Then it's going to climb back up. That means by October, we actually might have a warming trend. That the Midwest will have warming. So the Midwest will have a warming trend, while the East Coast will have a cooling trend. Usually, as the AO moves back up, this is when the trough. So around October 1st, we'll probably have a big cooling trend along the East Coast, warming in the Midwest, and possibly cooling in the Pacific. So you saw when the PNA got very negative, that's going to be warm. That's going to be dry for the Pacific Ocean. But once it gets positive, that's going to be moisture for the Pacific Ocean. So it's going to be some dry spell, some heat, possible warmth in the Pacific, Pacific West, and then Pacific Northwest, and then once it gets positive, it's going to be rain, a lot of rain for Seattle and Oregon, and Portland. For the East Coast, I am forecasting I hate to say this, but I'm forecasting a mild winter for all of us snow lovers. I don't know why, but there's going to be a fair amount of snow. Reason for this is the El Nino pattern. It's neutral right now.